Well, I turned on Eagles' Greatest Hits because I heard that song in the kitchen one of these nights. The beginning, I'm really wanting to play that song is really what I'm going to do. But according to the lead singer of Kiss, a guy named Gene Simmons, he doesn't feel there's really any rock and roll past 1985. And there was a time when Gene Simmons called Kurt Cobain, and Kurt Cobain refused the phone call. So I don't know, it's hard to say. We're talking about, saying that Nirvana is not part of the rock and roll scene, which is really part of the grunge scene, to be honest. We're turning on Eastwood. But, I like the Kings of Leon, but they were signed before they even picked up instruments. Yeah, there's some truth to that. Kings of Leon were actually signed before they even picked up a guitar, and they signed them first. They were a young group of kids that were thinking about starting a band, and they got signed. They were just thinking about it, and they got signed. So y'all are your hard work, you're trying to get signed. There's a band out there, they were just thinking about being a band. They were just thinking about picking up an instrument and trying it out. And this guy shows up and signs them. They're like, well, you realize we haven't played any instruments. They should make a movie about this. I'm still wanting to make a movie about the making of Eraserhead. There's a rock song on that one. In heaven, everything is fine. In heaven, it is actually alternative. Everything is fine. You got your good things. I'm happy for you. I wish nothing but. The whole, I was going to call her Janis Joplin, but it's Alanis Morissette. Our version of maybe Janis Joplin, maybe with longer hair and not as intoxicated. But I've always wondered, like, does she mean movie theater or does she mean live theater? Yeah, so the Eagles did a song called One of These Nights. I don't know anything about it, but they sound a little like the Bee Gees in moments of it. And they have a really cool opening. I went to their school. I went to UNT, North Texas. – 6592 1.1. Yeah. So I have a friend out there, Carrie Bourne, I think I want to say maybe her husband's Shertle. His last name is Shertle, but he's a professor in film somewhere. They made a movie called The Martini. It's kind of like, no, it's called The Martini the Movie, or Martini the Movie. Like the martini you drink, but it's very John Waters. There's music though. It's a full-on musical. The music actually sounds pretty good. I was listening to it the other day. They took it to Vegas, though. They took it to some film festival. But anyway, I don't think the movie became famous. This weird thing is about movies is if you do get the 20,000, I wouldn't say 20 million, but 20,000 or 200,000 or whatever it is, there's no guarantee that the movie is going to be famous. There's no guarantee on it. So, but the more money you put into it, sometimes you get really good equipment, decent actors. But here is the thing. I'm sorry, I don't want to say but too many times, but if you do get funding and you're able to get someone like Gary Oldman or something in the movie, then it will be famous. Yeah. If you use a famous actor in the movie, then the movie will become famous to a certain degree. But it doesn't mean it's going to become a cult classic, and I can promise you it's not going to be Eraserhead. Now, also on Martini, the movie, I think also a few of her friends are in it, because I recognize them. I can't see if it's in the cast list. I know Claudia. I don't know for sure if Claudia is the same Claudia. I'd have to watch the movie. But sometimes these movies are hard to get. Like, for example, the movie that I was in, known as Backpage, a segment of it got 172,000 views on YouTube. That's an indie film made by Richard Massey, or Hugh Richard Massey III. He's a TWU, Texas Wesleyan graduate, but he also went to University of North Texas for film. And he made that in Fort Worth a long time ago. I think it was like 2008-ish, around then. I played Gary. He was kind of a crazy guy that is in a bad situation and kind of fakes his way out of the situation. But the movie Backpage is about, well, there's a statement in it that says, you know, he talks about basically horrors. I hate to use that word, but if you've ever been to a back page, you know, you go to the back page of like any type of magazine, or not a magazine, but like newspapers and stuff. You go to the back page, you'll find like a guy that's like, you know, he'll clean your house or something, and then you got someone else that's a massage therapist, you know. It was about that page. But anyway, it did okay. I made a few $1,000s. But I don't know how it did in festival. Like, I don't know. It went through a festival or something. I never went to any of the premieres. I was too busy. I couldn't get to any of that stuff. I'm kind of like Pacino. I'll just miss the premiere. Actually, I've never been to any of my premieres. Now that I think about it. This one's going to be coming up this way. Right through here. There we go. Well, not yet. Green, 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 and then just red. Like, why would they do that? See? Green, 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 red. Green, 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 red. Green, red. Green, red. Green, red. Green. There we go. Green. All right. Rip off Martin Scorsese right here. There we go. There we go. All right. Scorsese's crying, laughing. No, I don't know if you would have a chance to see really any. Vlogs are tough. You got to understand, there's not just hundreds of vloggers. There's thousands of them all over the place. And a lot of them have thousands of subscribers. It's just an amazing phenomenon. That's what I call it. Whiskey and rye. Whiskey and rye. Yeah, but Carrie Bourne, she was like the actress of UNT at the time. She falled in the hottie. She was in the hottie class. About maybe 4 or 5, maybe 6, 7 hottie actresses there at the time. Claudia would probably fall into one of them too. Figure out the name of it. There it is. Well, no, it's just says it on what it says. Gotta find an elevator. Oh, wow. I'll figure it out eventually. It's known as the Omni. These are paintings. We got them all down that one. Oh wow, there's a garden. It's actually a garden. Huh. It's really cool looking. Oh, I got a mix up on maybe a room number or something. Okay, so there's two sides to the Omni. There's this side, which is Throckmorton, which is correct. Yes, this is it right here. Then there's the other side. That makes it different. All right, I see. Two sides of the Omni. Okay, so it's not actually a hotel on this side. It's a hotel on the other side, but this is residences. So people actually live there. Is that not amazing? It is. So all their furniture and everything probably gets shipped to those. I don't even know what they look like inside. You have to look online, but it's residencies. Those are basically townhomes in the sky. But the other side's the hotel. So I didn't know. I just figured it out. Isn't that amazing? It's right here in Fort Worth, though. It's been there for a while. They have these balconies right there. See those balconies? Go all the way up, like right there. That is amazing. That's Kimball Art Museum stuff that's being advertised. And that's the antique, or the old historical, I don't know, I guess you could call it a post office. This is actually the post office for sure. And they use Beaux-Arts design, known as Beaux-Arts. B-E-A-U-X Arts. Beaux-Arts. It's a combination of Renaissance, neoclassical, and elements of Baroque. It's been there since 1931. It entered the endangered. We did a thing right there for Hardell, Baltimore. Little photo just shoot. It entered the endangered building stuff in 2008 or 2018 or something. But then it went on to the National Register in 1985. So they've known about it for a long time. It's an endangered building. So they will keep it up, but it's like it's endangered of losing. Like they put it on these lists so the council, city council and stuff like that can argue, no, we don't want so-and-so company to come in and bulldoze it, because it's almost like a landmark almost. It's like a historical building, you know. Some buildings get that privilege. Many in New York. That they bulldoze buildings every day in New York, but many get on this National Register where they argue it and save the building. We're going to be coming up to Masonic Temple. I always say Masonic Lodge, but it's Masonic Temple of Fort Worth as well too. There's a lot of hidden spots that you occasionally, you can see the Texas sign right here. Well, it's really what it is. It's a Texas symbol, but we'll get like a really good shot of it right here. A better one than usual, probably. God, that was a tough one. You go the wrong side. Look at this thing. Speed Racer. If you get on the wrong side on that, it's like, it's very difficult. They got too many trees on this one, on this side. The Masonic Temple on the other side of this brand new QT. Yeah, it's hidden by those trees right there. People don't realize. Now, if I go over to here, another thing that's a little funny about Hitchcock, Alfred Hitchcock, with the movie Hitchcock 2012 with Anthony Hopkins, is his psychotherapist is Ed Gein. There we go, right here. Some temple. Yeah, his psychotherapist in the actual movie is freaking Ed Gein, one of the worst serial killers. Pretty much the one that inspired what's his name, Block, to write Hitchcock. I'm sorry. I don't think he wrote Hitchcock. He might have, but he wrote a book called Psycho. He turned Psycho. Well, he didn't turn Psycho into a screenplay. That was done by Stefano. He was a actor. Well, he was actually a crazy guy that went out to New York, changed his name to Jerry something. And he changed his name, and he tried to be this actor in New York. It didn't really work out, so he started writing screenplays. They liked his screenplays. And he wrote Psycho. He wrote the screenplay of Psycho, gave it to Hitchcock. Well, Hitchcock wanted the book to be turned into a movie. And this guy, Stefano, whatever his name is, I'll look up his name later. It's something like that. Anyway, he wrote the screenplay, and he also had written a bunch of other stuff too. But regardless, the guy that wrote the screenplay to Hitchcock 2012 with Anthony Hopkins, he directed. It was Sasha Gervasi. He directed for Spielberg. Well, he didn't direct for Spielberg. He wrote for Spielberg. He wrote a screenplay called Terminal with Tom Hanks for Spielberg. And eventually they let him direct. Then he wanted to do a thing on Hitchcock. It's crazy. All these screenplay writers and stuff. It's amazing. But the guy that wrote the screenplay for Hitchcock 2012 for Anthony Hopkins, his name I think is like Tim McLaughlin. I don't even know what he's done. I got to look it up on Internet Movie Database. But they let him write the screenplay about Hitchcock, and he used Ed Gein in it. Anthony Hopkins is basically talking to Ed Gein, kind of like a True Romance. Hint, 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 hint. When Quentin Tarantino throws in Elvis for the protagonist to talk to, he wasn't the one that invented that. It's been going on for a while. People have been talking to Elvis for years. All right, 75983.1.